Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Lil Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, I'm always going to let you know that this video was brought to you by Print Champs, big Print Champs in the building. Always pushing the culture forward. Make sure you use code BULLY10 at checkout. Get everything you need, man, regarding all the merchandise that we drop over here on this channel. All the support is greatly appreciated, man. And yeah, man, let's get into it. Nick Sirianni is slated to have his interview today. I don't know if it happened already or not, but in my last video, I talked a lot about Nick Sirianni and why I believe the Philadelphia Eagles should part ways. And after watching the game again, I still feel the same way that I feel. That doesn't mean I know for a fact or the Philadelphia Eagles will part ways with Nick Sirianni, because it's almost it's like a catch-22 when you think about the situation in a nutshell. Yeah, he's a winning head coach, but he doesn't perform, to the level he needs to perform when it matters the most. And when you see these things early out of a coach, you don't want to, keep giving a guy a benefit of the doubt. That's how you end up having an underachiever for 10 years. And you can't wonder why you can't get out this hole. So, that's where I was at with that, because again, not to reiterate and not to beat a dead horse, there were just too many things that we had ample time to correct that we didn't see anything different on, i.e. the blitzing or why the defense was so bad. So, that's why I'm there with that. But, to just put it all on Nick Sirianni is unfair. It's unfair to put it all on Nick Sirianni. I believe that if this meeting is to go down, I think a meeting with Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie should go down as well. Because, there are some positions, in my opinion, that have been neglected. They've been neglected. You know what I mean? We got superstars on the offensive side of the ball, but when you really get to it, or when you get to the nitty gritty of things, once one of these guys are out, if AJ is out, you look noticeably weaker at the wide receiver position, even though you still have Smitty. You have to just feed Smitty. Nobody else is able to step up in the wide receiver core if you're down AJ Brown or if you're down Devontae Smith. Nobody else is able to step up. And God forbid both of these guys don't play. You know what I mean? You already have trouble moving the ball. The tight end 2 position has been, an extremely just terrible position since, you left Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz, since they parted ways of not being 1-1. Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz and not being on the same team. Grant Calcaterra really can't bring nothing to the table. Stool is more of a blocker in that regard, and that's just on the offensive side of the ball, in its totality. The misuse of the running backs, you know what I mean? The general manager, when he acquires a Rashad Penny, when he acquires a DeAndre Swift, to not use them makes no sense at all. You know what I mean? So some of these things have to be on Howie Roseman. Let's talk about how we've neglected the linebacking position for years. You can even just circle the TJ Edwards thing and how TJ Edwards is basically an all-pro with a whole nother team. You know what I mean? Because we neglected to throw some money on the table for him. TJ Gardner-Johnson is playing in the divisional round. Came right back to the field, right back where he started off at. Not re-signing Gardner-Johnson, I think, was criminal. So some of that, Howie Roseman has to own some of the troubles that we're definitely seeing on the defensive side of the ball. You know what I mean? We try to go cheap at the linebacker position. We try to go cheap at safety. We don't even draft linebackers high in the draft. We rarely draft cornerbacks high in the draft. This is how the Philadelphia Eagles have shown us that they're going to try to correct weaknesses and deficiencies by being cheap and not, putting these things at the forefront. I can almost guarantee you this. If Kelsey does retire, we'll be drafting the center within the first 2 rounds of the draft. When I don't think you have to do that this year. You know what I mean? You can afford to go cheap at center this year if Kelsey retires, because you have Cam Jurgens already. You could pick a backup up off of free agency, somebody that fits the mold and skill set of the team. You don't have to go draft the guy now. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's start making these things make sense. So I think Howie Roseman, got some things to answer for too as well, not just Nick Sirianni. Now, in no way, shape, form, or fashion am I saying the Philadelphia Eagles need a new GM, because I think Howie Roseman is easily a top 5, top 3 GM in the game. You know what I mean? But Howie Roseman, is absolutely absolutely has to, own some of this debacle going down. You know what I'm saying? He has to own some of it. Going down the stretch, how poorly we played, just the lack of guys, just the guys on the field. You know what I mean? Eli Ricks, yeah, he's super young, but Eli Ricks got a lot of playing time. And Eli Ricks got abused and exposed in his rookie season. A lot on the football field. We tried to go cheap with Zach Cunningham. We tried to go cheap with Nicholas Morrow. These guys can't really tackle, can't cover. Shaq Leonard, you know that move did us no good at all. It did nothing good for us, but get us a little hype, get us a little turned up. It's like everybody in the NFL knew he was washed except Howie Roseman. Of course, Eagles fans are going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I myself gave him the benefit of the doubt because I knew what he'd done before. But if you got guys around the league, those guys talk. People know he was washed. Howie Roseman decided to go cheap in a number of positions. You know what I'm saying? Except you know investing in top tier coaching and top tier players. The Denard Wilson thing, that story leaks out that Slay is telling Inquirer reporters that Denard Wilson would have been better than Matt Patricia. He would have been better than Sean Desai, but the Philadelphia Eagles got him out of the building. You know what I mean? I forgot how that process even went. Did we even give this guy a fair interview? I'm gonna have to look that up or not. But I know he was, the DB coach for us. You know what I'm saying? The DBs are trash for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. I know they got one of the top DB rooms over there in the AFC for the Ravens. Denard Wilson is the DB coach. You know what I mean? So the Philadelphia Eagles, the hiring practices of the coordinators since Nick Sirianni has taken over has been very, very shaky. He was able to bring over Shane Steichen, you know what I mean, due to the relationship they already had. But, once you got to get outside of the realm of relationships and then you start hiring guys just for familiarity, i.e. Brian Johnson, because he was the quarterback coach, you decide to elevate him instead of doing some real research and really seeing if you could get you an offensive coordinator. You try to keep everything in-house. You know what I mean? And you try to do I'm okay with keeping things in house, but things got to change. Things got to change on the offensive side of the ball. Like if you know that teams are going to blitz, you got to have an answer for it, man. I hate having to say it over and over and over again, but how can Nick Sirianni go in there and talk to the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles and reasonably justify him still having the job with the way that he handled the adversity down the tail end of the year? He did nothing as a coach to try to adjust or to try to cover up or to try to make anything better. You know what I mean? Nothing. It's not hard to call a slant. I'm confused. If your philosophy is broken on the defensive side of the ball via the scheme that you're running, the zone that you're playing, start sending blitzes and playing man more. That just makes sense. Like speed up the clock of the quarterback. Don't just think you can always get there with a front four. Teams are good too. We're not the only good team in the National Football League. And those are the things that are alarming to me when you're talking about Nick Sirianni. But like I say, Howie Roseman is far from without fault in this because Howie Roseman was cheap at a number of critical positions, severely cheap. We refused to pay linebackers top money. We refused to do it. You know what I mean? Our answer to paying linebackers top money is let's drop back Hassan Reddick sometime. Nah, man, get you a linebacker who could play off the ball 100% of the time. I didn't see Nolan Smith back there at all. We didn't experiment with things. We didn't try to shake things up. There's no creativity in the building. So that is a Howie Roseman and a Nick Sirianni issue. But let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I'm anxious to see how this meeting is going to go. I'm hoping that there's major changes in the coaching staff because you can't play around with the Super Bowl window. So we're going to see how it go, man. But you know what I mean? At the end of the day, Nick Sirianni is not the only one at fault here. You know what I mean? It was a putrid end to the season. And, I just need training camp to get here like right now so we can redeem ourselves.